analytic episode of the Christened Music Podcast. Engage. Booting a post. Searching for relevant personality. Initiating relevant, relatable AF and funny introductory sequence.
What is up, Drum Alert Nation? I'm your host, Killer Keemstar. Let's get right into the news.
Assuming manual control. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Christened Music Podcast, where if it's listenable, it's Christenable. I'm your host, Chris Martins. We got a new setup today because my dad likes it, and today we are going to take a look at Joshua Bassett's self-titled EP. Whew, my sister's gonna be mad about this one. This is the debut EP from American actor and singer Joshua Bassett. He is most famous for acting in High School Musical, the series, the movie, the game, the trilogy, The Imposter, The Marketable Plushie, The Vaccine, the EP, It is here where our story begins, with a relationship with co-star Olivia Rodrigo gone sour. She releases a little ditty called Driver's License that becomes a massive hit, and all tabloid eyes were on our homeboy Joshua Bassett because it might just be about him! Which is allegedly how this EP fell into our laps. I was expecting one of those apology videos in EP form, but I knew to throw that aside and listen. Just listen to the damn EP. And to be fair, I'm not really invested in any of the drama or High School Musical, the series at all. But I truly wanted to give this guy a shot. Unfortunately, I just don't like this EP. If I could describe it as one word, I'd say, mediocre. The EP is overblown and overproduced, except for pianos, which sound really nice. On top of that, the production's mostly uninteresting too, from an effects standpoint. Speaking of uninteresting, the composition's only saving grace are those pretty piano intros, which the rest of the songs often rip away from me. The structure's fairly decent for the most part, nothing too crazy, no tonal whiplash, nothing like that. That might be because the lyrics are so ambiguous, though. The vocals themselves from Bassett are fine, if a bit low energy, but the lyrics he's singing are anonymous at best and petty at worst. It's the first real stinker I'm doing here in video form, so, let's dive in. The mixing on this EP is, meh. Joshua Bassett is often on top of the mix, as he should be, but he has to compete against these super loud instruments on songs like Do It All Again and the end of Lie, Lie, Lie. What really sucks is that these songs reel me in with something that sounds fine from a mixing standpoint, and then somewhere in the song, the rest of the mixing is just awful. Like, the second this EP gets loud in any way, Joshua Bassett has to fight to be heard where he absolutely shouldn't be. On top of that, the whole album is super overblown and compressed. Even when I turn down the volume to try and give this EP the benefit of the doubt, I just can't, man. Like, ugh. Dynamics could make this project so much better, but no, you had to keep it loud and fit in with the whole modern music pop stereotype. Dear God, the wrong generation would have a field day. Ugh. Also, can someone tell me, please, why do pianos sound amazing, yet the acoustic guitar on Lie, Lie, Lie sounds like every peppy pop song on the planet? Cold and lacking in body. Like, seriously? We're really using that 90s trope? And on top of that, Why are all the interesting parts of this album taking a backseat to the same tropes that we've heard a million times this decade? The effects are also meh. At least they try, I guess, if you can even say that given how vanilla this album is. Okay, to be fair, it's not entirely bland from an effects standpoint. There's a bit of reverb used pretty tastefully, especially with instruments. It gives this record a little bit more of a spacey atmosphere. There are also a few moments of this album that break free from the mono sound that are outside of reverb. Telling Myself is an example of this kind of relative stereo sound. But like the Shawn Mendes EP before it, Joshua Bassett's EP dips his toes in the water with any artistic risks. Except it makes Shawn Mendes' producers sound like Phil Spector in comparison. Why are you hiding everything that could maybe be interesting? There are these artificial harmonies on Telling Myself which are like, that's really cool. I think you could use that a little more to like play off of Joshua Bassett's vocals, but it's just suppressed. It's just a little afterthought. Oh my god. I used to think that this EP had too much going for it, but it's proven its incompetence from its production standpoint. Just like what is going on, man? Oh boy, where to begin with this EP's composition? First, let's start with the one instrument that gave me a glimmer of hope that this EP would be good. The piano. They are really pretty at the beginning of the EP with Sorry, and it lulls you into this false sense of, hey, this might be alright. And then something just comes and rips that away. The bass is unfortunately an accomplice in this robbery. I've long praised many an album on their inclusion of some low end, but there are times where it goes too far. The bass is absolutely deafening and overpowering with these chorus breakdowns on tracks like Sorry, and it's not even doing anything cool. Like, come on, man, put some funk into it. It hurts my poor ears. Speaking of things with strings, ukulele. It's actually pretty good on Only a Matter of Time. I kind of like the strings throughout the album, and it gives this EP a little bit more of an epic presentation, which might be an orchestra VST, but still, it sounds pretty good. The guitars are kind of bad on this record, though. It might be the production's fault, but these chords on Lie, Lie, Lie are just not doing it for me. The drums are so just there that I barely even notice them. Unless it's the closer, Heaven Is You, with some fairly alright drums. There are these drum machines that have so many pop cliches that it hurts from too many pop acts to name. The structure of this EP is not all bad, though. I kind of like the alternating between these snarky, cool pop songs and the sadder, more heartfelt ballads. It keeps things interesting, at least somewhat. It alternates between moods consistently, and I guess that's kind of interesting. There's no real unifying thread from track to track, even though one would be really cool, but it is what it is. But outside of the closer, Heaven Is You, a song that is mostly swung with a straight bridge. If you don't know what I'm talking about, swung is like, and straight eighth notes are like, something like that. Which is a little confusing, but more intriguing the more I think about it. The lack of experimentation from this EP shows a lot of itself in song structure. It's just another pop EP with just pop songs that are radio-friendly structure-wise. I've heard this same pop structure countless times, and I wish that Bassett would just switch things up to make this EP not sound like every top 40 radio station from 2015 onwards. This EP is clearly not focused on standing out, but instead sounding like all the pop stars that the teenagers love. Now, I don't mind this at all. Everybody has their markets to pander to in this music industry, but I really wish that Joshua Bassett did something with this EP to stand out a little more so I don't get so bored. Lyrics are, there, I guess. Like I said, there are 6 radio-friendly pop songs, and I guess they show a bit of emotion and humanity, but not enough to give this EP a pass. But let's start with Joshua Bassett himself. Joshua Bassett's voice is fine. Nothing out of key, nothing too awful, just okay. I find his voice a little wispy, and I feel like it could use a little more oomph to add some more passion, make this song a little bit more believable, but that's just me. It kind of sounds fine as it is, to be honest. I find his intonation of certain words a little strange, like sorry sounding like Surrey, like the town in BC. But maybe that's just his voice and he can't really control that. Fine, whatever. What I really don't like is that he tends to go unnatural to try and fit the songs, such as the staccato flow on Telling Myself. He is trying way too hard to fit the song into a let's get physical style, and as such, it just seems wonky. Some beginner songwriters have to realize that if they're singing the song, they are the melody, and they had to account for that and make something catchy, but also believable that a human would indeed sing it. But overall, it's not a bad vocal performance, just not an amazing one. The lyrics themselves are the reason why I'm slowly growing to despise this EP and its teeny bopper BS. Lie, Lie, Lie is perhaps one of the most pettiest songs I have heard in my life, and it's probably where this drama kept on kindling. It's like the Weeknd's Repeat After Me, but if After Hours had 0 character development. It's kind of worth an eye roll or two, but the real kicker is that the song was written years before this EP dropped and years before this whole Olivia Rodrigo thing. Which brings me to this EP's main problem. It's too damn ambiguous. I used to want to slam this EP because it just seems like a sounding board for all this dude's problems, and then I realized everyone talks about their problems in musical form. The difference is, with the best artists, at least in my opinion, you could tell that it comes from a deeply personal place. With this EP, it just seems too surface level. I wish that Joshua Bassett let us into his psyche a little more. I do like how Only a Matter of Time tries to do this, and it's actually sort of heartfelt, but I feel like Joshua built a wall between the listener and himself on this EP for really no reason. If you got something out of this EP, all the power to you. But I just want more. But instead, I get this bland mix of tired, cliche pop songs that just don't stand out. And that, to me, is the worst sin of all. What else is there to say? This EP is just plain. Production is so damn loud and overcompressed that it finally made me understand why some people hate compression entirely, such as remastering an old albums. I used to scoff at the whole, it's taking the dynamics out of the music, man, while pointing at the improvement of recording technology since the 60s, but I can't do that anymore. And the effects are not unique in any way, it's just ever so slightly outside of the mono sound. But it's done in such a way that countless pop songs did before. With this in mind, composition is either frustratingly bland or just plain frustrating. From reeling me in with nice pianos only to crush me with disappointingly loud bass, to trying not to stand out so hard that it actively suppresses anything that could be interesting in either production or composition. It's mind-boggling to me how little this EP wants to experiment. Oh, God forbid Joshua Bassett get creative at all! Ugh! This spirit bleeds into the vocals, which are just fine, if lacking in passion. Sure. It makes me have a weird, newfound appreciation for Charlie Puth. Listen to attention to hear what I mean. Speaking of lacking in passion, the lyrics themselves are so surface level that they end up falling flat of an actual connection. I wish that this were about some kind of drama that I don't care about, because maybe Joshua Bassett could make me care, but it's too safe and it's too broad for me. It's simply not worth my time to pour over something that gives me so little in return. And that's exactly what this EP did. This EP sorely needs detail of all kinds, and without it, you get this colorless pile of meh. Joshua Bassett has a lot of work to do for next time. Who knows? Maybe we will get something full of heart and passion and creativity. Hell, 21 Pilots did it. But until then, I'm going to have to give this one a strong 3 out of 10. I hope you enjoyed this review of Joshua Bassett's self-titled EP. Thank you all so much for listening and watching me rant. Let me know your thoughts on this record in the comments below, as always. And if you like hearing me talk music and do music, subscribe to the Martelins music channel and hit the bell so you never, ever miss anything I put out. If you want to see more of me and my musical endeavors, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok at Martelins Music. If you want strictly review-related content, follow at Christened Music on Instagram. If you want all that in the kitchen sink, you can check out my website at martelinsmusic.wixsite.com/music. And before I leave you, I have music of my own that I am anxious to share with you, and it sounds just a little like...